Another series that's been really interesting is the Kings and Warriors, and how easily have been probably the best series in all of the playoffs so far. So many storylines.
Yeah, there's so many storylines in this series from Mike Brown being the former Warriors head coach to De'Aaron Fox really coming alive. And when you think of point guards in the NBA right now, there's not too many guys after watching the series you think of off the top of your head that you would want over De'Aaron Fox. In the first year that they announced the Clutch Player of the Year award, he goes ahead and wins it. He's hitting big three after not being known as a shooter. And he's also elevating all of the teammates around him because Malik Monk, people forget, but he was a pretty on and off streaky player with the Lakers. The Lakers wanted to get rid of him. Trey Lyles, I mean, a
Oh,
Kentucky reject. He was there when they had De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Devin Booker, and Karl Anthony Towns. And I believe I'm trying to think of the Willie Cauley Stein was also on that
right.
team. And then you have all of those players coming alive, and then you have your player coming off the bench, one of the best rookies in basketball, Davion Mitchell, coming absolutely lighting up the Warriors. And then you have players like Sam Herter, Domantas Sabonis on this team, who hasn't had his best series, but has definitely done his job to get under Draymond Green's skin. And then you have the Warriors seemingly fighting for their life, fighting for their legacy in this series. And then Steph Curry, and we've gotten some of the most iconic games from him. He's making big shots. Klay Thompson is officially back and
Right.
had shot 40% from three, 26 points. And then Jordan Poole chipped in with another 20 points. Andrew Wiggins is having a huge series defensively. And now it's tied 2-2. Warriors a pretty bad road team this year, but I just think my formula for the playoffs is that the role players, the further it gets into a series, the weaker that the role players get. So I think all those threes you're hitting in game 1 and 2, they're going to start to go away. And I think the reason why the Warriors have the advantage is they have the experience, not going to be shaken by the moment. And then the Kings had 5 turnovers at the end of the game in the fourth quarter when they had 5 turnovers all game. And then you have De'Aaron Fox. I know he's going to show up, but at the same time, I do question at the end of the game him giving the ball up to Harrison Barnes when I feel like he shouldn't have run the clock down that much and he should have just forced his way to the rim and gotten to the foul line or try to hit a jumper when he was pure all game, had just hit a 28 footer to tie up the game. And then Steph Curry in the series, again, carrying the Warriors, keeping them in the game. Anytime Steph Curry goes to the bench, I'm genuinely afraid for the Warriors and what they're going to be able to do on offense. But whenever he's in the game, it's been the best basketball I've ever watched. We have 2 games with identical scores, and they're both 126 to 125. Comes down to a player missing an open shot that they could have hit. Both of these teams feel like they should be up 3-1. Do you see any team having a distinct advantage, or do you think you're just here to enjoy the ride? And this has been one of the best basketball series we've had pleasure of watching in probably a long time.
This is definitely like the best first round series I've seen in maybe a decade, honestly.
Yeah,
You mentioned the narratives before. No, honestly, what I want in this series, I don't even care who wins this series. I want it to go 7 games
yeah,
because Harrison Barnes makes that three to win this game, and they're up 3-1. On the other end of it, it's like the Warriors just continue to be playing aggressive and playing defense. Steph Curry making circus shots. People forget. I mean, you want to get bored sometime, go on YouTube and look up Steph Curry highlight reels. Out of any player of the last 15 years, there is nobody that can fill out a highlight reel quite like Steph Curry, making the most insane shots. And he continues to do it in this series as well. And I want to talk about De'Aaron Fox because we praised Jimmy Butler pretty heavily. And I feel like Western Conference equivalent at this point is probably De'Aaron Fox. Talk about a guy who, for his entire career, has slowly but steadily been a very efficient scorer, has been greatly improving his shooting. And in this series, actually playing defense, which I feel like in the regular season he wasn't known for, especially because they had one of the worst defenses in the league. But now they're doing the best they can defensively. And De'Aaron Fox being an absolute dog. I
yeah,
mean, even, if we apply context to this last game, it's like the Warriors, they went up 126 to 122. And then with 20 seconds left, De'Aaron Fox hits a monster three to put it
Yeah.
to a one-score game. And ultimately was just a missed three away from being up 3-1. And De'Aaron Fox absolutely deserves his flowers. He deserves to be recharacterized in this conversation along with Jimmy Butler with playoff performances because he's been playing out of his mind. And I just want the series to go 7.
Yeah, I want the series to go 7, and I was waiting for that key Steve Kerr adjustment, and then we gave Steve Kerr high praise last episode, and I was waiting to see what it was going to be, and I was curious, and it wasn't playing or starting someone like Moody or Kaminga. It was putting Draymond Green on the bench for the guy that he punched earlier in the season, and then he ended up starting Jordan Poole over Draymond Green. Kevon Looney had a huge game in game 3 that eventually helped the Warriors win because he was a monster on the offensive
20
board. So
rebounds.
Steve Kerr said, "Hey, I can't have two bigs on the floor that aren't knockdown shooters." So he went with spacing. He went with Clay, Poole, and put Green on the bench. So interested to see if he sticks with that. But that's just showing how in the first round, Mike Brown's really making Steve Kerr work for it. Steve Kerr and him were joking at half court, like, yeah, all of our plays are different. You don't know any of our plays right now, but it's been awesome to see just the coaching matchup and then Steph Curry versus De'Aaron Fox because De'Aaron Fox has been outscoring Steph Curry in the series so far, and it's definitely felt like the Kings just like make you out of breath. Like the last 5 minutes of this game, I was standing the whole time because it was just back and forth from the third quarter, like 6 minutes from the third quarter, all the way down until the fourth quarter, like to the
Mm.
last seconds you were on the edge of your seat. So this has definitely probably been one of the best first round series of all time. And I think the NBA definitely wants it to go